When there is an immediate danger to your current location, such as from a fire, explosives, or uncontrolled traffic at a scene, you can use several different drag techniques. To protect yourself, you should always remember to lift or move a person using the principles of body mechanics, including maintaining a straight, rigid back and bending at the hips, not at the waist. You should also keep your head in a neutral position, not flexed forward or extended back. Lastly, use your legs to lift, not your back. To perform the armpit forearm drag, reach under the patient's armpits from behind and grab his left forearm with your right hand and his right forearm with your left hand. Pull the patient in the direction of the long axis of the body.
Mark, we're gonna move you. Sam, help me get him up. Okay. Okay. Ready? Got his neck?
If the patient is wearing a shirt other than a t-shirt, you can use it to support the patient's head and pull by grabbing the shoulders and collar of the shirt. Support the patient's head with your fists and pull along the long axis of the body. Be careful not to strangle the patient. Another effective technique is to use a coat or a blanket to drag the patient to safety. To get the patient onto the blanket, you'll need to log roll her onto her side and then tuck the blanket underneath. Lay the patient back down and pull the other edge of the blanket out from underneath the patient. Gather the blanket into a place underneath the patient's head and pull. To lift a patient off the ground, you can use a direct ground lift or an extremity lift. These techniques should only be used when there is immediate danger to the patient, because none of these techniques allow you to adequately protect the patient's spine in case of an injury to the head, neck, or spine. Two or three rescuers should line up on the same side of the patient. The first rescuer should maintain the head and neck in a neutral position with one hand, and then place her other arm under the patient's lower back. The second rescuer should place the patient's arms on her chest. She should then place one arm under the patient's lower back and the other under the thighs. The third rescuer should place one arm under the patient's knees and the other under the ankles. On a signal from the first rescuer, they should stand and move the patient to a stretcher, table, or other surface.
1, 2, 3, go. Okay, everybody got her? Okay.
Another option is the extremity lift. You should not use this technique if you suspect any injury to the spine or the extremities. One rescuer should kneel at the patient's head while the second kneels at the patient's side by his knees. The first rescuer should slip his hands under the patient's armpits and grasp the alternating wrists, right hand to left wrist, left hand to right wrist. Second rescuer, third if available, should then slip their hands under the patient. Rescuers should then move to a crouching position before attempting to stand all the way up, keeping their backs straight and heads neutral.